We are here with another monthly showcase. This one is for the month of March, and this one is another banger in my opinion because we have some really cool juniper stock here. We have a really nice dawn redwood forest, and we have some younger stock of black pines, and we even have a tokonami pot up for grabs at a pretty good price, and of course some more tools. In this case it's going to be a branch cutter, again from Wazakura. So I'm going to go through each piece individually, give you a little bit of a breakdown and some details about each tree, the pots and all the products and things that we have here, and hopefully you guys find something that you like. First up, we're going to start with the big boy. We're going to start with the Dawn Redwood Forest. Now this one I put together myself in August of 2023. The trees are varying ages and sizes. I'll give you a little spin as I keep talking through it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees in this composition. Like I said, various ages and sizes. The main one is probably, I would say, around 12, 13 years old. The rest sort of vary in age below that, between, I would say the youngest would be maybe 6 years old. I think it's a really nice composition. It's in a really nice pot. So for those of you that don't know about the Dawn Redwood species, it is a deciduous species. So it'll turn like a nice golden bronzy color in autumn, which has a really nice effect on the garden and on the display of the tree itself. You won't need to repot this for probably another couple of years. Like I said, it's only done in August of 2023. It's really now just about working on some refinement of the branching. Really good primary branches all throughout each of the trees. It's now just working on the secondary and just working on the refinement of those branches as well. So this one has a pretty good price on it normally. So it's normally $8.95, which I think is relatively cheap for a species like this. For the video today, I'm willing to drop that down to $800. So if you work that out per tree, that is pretty cheap. Really easy to manage in terms of pruning and things like that. It'll grow like crazy and it'll bud like crazy, the same as any of your other redwood species. The timing of the pruning can be a little bit tricky. You have to wait for that first flush of growth to actually harden off. You'll see the branches, the green branches will start to turn a browny reddy sort of color, and that's the perfect time to start pruning them to create ramification. So it's relatively easy, you just have to look for the color change. It is probably going to push out a bit of growth between now and the end of autumn, but for now we've just left it to grow. It looks a little bit wild, but it can definitely be cleaned up a little bit more than it is. It's just not quite the right time to do that pruning on this species. Plenty of branches, plenty of foliage. So yeah, for this video, $800. On to the next one. Right, so up here we have a juniper. I think it's just a common juniper species. This was originally bought from Tien, a bonsai sensation, a couple of years ago. Looked completely different. If any of you guys have been following my socials and things like that for a little while, you may have seen this tree in its multiple designs. This is pretty much the final design for the tree in my opinion. Shows off all the good qualities, has good taper all through the tree. It's really starting to become nicely ramified now too. So there's not a whole lot of work left to do in the development. It's pretty much all done for you. Filling out these pads, getting some good refinement into that branch structure, and you're going to have a really, really nice quality tree in your collection if you were to pick this one up. So it was repotted just this spring. So again, you're not going to need to be repotting this for at least a few years. Being in a semi-cascade pot like it is, it's nice and deep. You have plenty of room for the roots to grow. So it's definitely not a every year or 2 year repot. It's going to be much more manageable than in something in a shallower pot. Ideal for somebody that is happy just to appreciate it how it is and just work on the refinement of the tree. It's had all the shari and dead work done on it about a year ago. You may have seen in the latest day in the life video, it has just had a prune. So this can pretty much just be left until maybe mid to late spring, early summer before it needs a prune again. We've done all the work on pushing it back into its compact silhouette. You're going to find that it's going to fill out really, really quickly. and you can just keep knocking it back when it's time for that prune. So price wise on this one, now this normally sits at $1,350, so $1,350. In terms of the age of the tree, it's probably, I would say, around 15, 16 years old. Had a lot of the movement and everything put into it at a young age. So the foundation of the movement and the trunk line is pretty much set. So again, you don't have to worry about putting movement into it and trying to worry about all of that. Back to pricing. Now pricing, I'm willing to drop this down to $1,200 for the purpose of this video. I think that's a bit of a steal for this tree. Some may not agree with that, but I know the work that I put into this tree to get it to this point. Now on to the next one. Our pot for the month, which is from Tokonami. It is a deep oval pot in a dark clay. One of my favorite colors of clay. I think this style and color and aesthetic can pretty much work on any kind of conifer. I'd be happy to put a pine, juniper, hinoki, anything like that straight into a pot like this. Very versatile, good sizing as well. I can get the exact sizing for you if I had a tape measure, which I do not, so give me a moment. All right, I'll measure this for you on the spot so you get exact details. Full width of the pot on the outer rim is 340 millimeters. On the inside, it is 290. So 34 centimeters outer rim, and then 29 centimeters on the internal rim. Depth-wise, we have 8 centimeters depth, ideal for something coming out of a nursery pot straight into its first bonsai pot. It has that depth that allows you to leave a little bit more of the root ball and not have to worry about any damage to the tree itself. Now, depth-wise, we have 26 centimeters or 260 millimeters on the outer rim, and we have 22 centimeters on the inner internal rim and capacity. So again, super versatile. You'll fit a lot of trees into that and it'll look spectacular with that darker clay and that shape as well. So definitely one to look out for. So price wise for this pot that we have here in front of us, I'll give you a closer look at it as I talk. It is a brand new pot, but you may find here that there is just a tiny chip on one of the feet here. For that reason, I'm willing to do this pot for about $280. It's still perfectly viable as a pot. All you would probably do is just make sure you face that to the back of the tree, so it's almost never seen anyway, but because it is just slightly damaged on the foot there, I'm happy to do this for a much lower price. I'll give you a quick another spin, a look inside. So again, Tokonami pot at a really, really good price. Next up, we have this Cascade Juniper. It had a much lower cascading branch. You can see it's quite overgrown at the moment. It still has the structure that you need, and it wouldn't take much more than a prune to get it back into its ideal shape and silhouette. But we left it to grow to get some of that vigor back into the tree. We obviously cut off that lower branch. There's not much wire on there. There's maybe 1 or 2 branches that have been wired just to get into place a little bit, but you could really do with a nice, good wiring job on this. It's gonna just bring it back into its full glory, and it's gonna be a pretty spectacular tree once all that sort of work is done. So this is definitely for somebody that wants an established tree, is already in a bonsai pot, but maybe just needs that little bit more work in terms of wiring and pruning. So ideally for somebody that likes to do that work, which I'm sure a lot of you watching this are that type of person. You want to get hands-on with your trees and you want to do all the work to the tree itself. So it's sort of like a mini project for somebody if you were to purchase this tree. In terms of money, this is normally $700, but we can drop this down to $620. In terms of age, I think it was 2011. So yeah, you're probably looking at about 14, 15 years old for this tree. Has some really cool, intricate movement in it. Like overlapping of roots that have grown into the trunk itself. It will need a repot as well. You could probably even do it in autumn or leave it until spring or late winter and then give it a good repot. So again, somebody that's looking for something that is a little bit more of a project, something they can get their hands on almost straight away and do the work themselves. So another good option there. So again, for $620, mention that you saw the video if you're coming into store. So I decided to bring in some different options, some different price points, a little bit more than the last video, just to sort of cater to everybody and everybody's budgets. So this week we brought in some examples of some of the twisted trunk black pines that we have for sale here at the nursery. So these pines are, I would say, around 4, maybe almost 5 years old. All the movement was put into the trunks from an early age as whips and has just been grown on to thicken that trunk. And all of these also got a cutback in early spring as well. You still have a lot to work with, still young enough and malleable enough to put a lot of movement higher up above the trunk line if necessary, but some really cool projects. You could stick these in the ground for a couple of years, really get them thick, and then start to dig them out and work on them again. You could put them straight into a bonsai pot now, get some wire on them and get them looking good, and within a season or two, you're gonna end up with a really nice Shohin size black pine. Price-wise on these are normally $80. We're gonna do these ones for $65, and we have probably, I would say maybe 3 trays worth of these here at the nursery. So there's plenty of options and plenty of variety in terms of shapes and sizes and things like that. So if you are interested, make sure you come down and check it out and have a look through the trays, because there are definitely some goodies in there for sure. So the next one that we have up here for sale is another juniper. So this one has just been wired and styled out in spring this year, and then it's just been left to fill out for a season. It's got really nice shape and style to it. Perfect to go straight into somebody's collection. Don't really need to do much more other than just keep working on developing some tertiary branches, a little bit of ramification. It's due for another prune, maybe early spring sometime. Get it nice and tight and compact again, and then just let it fill out over spring and summer, and then maybe come back through in summer and give it another prune. And you're gonna find pretty quickly that these pads and branches are going to look really, really nice after maybe even just half a season. So price on this one is normally $320, but for the video we're going to do this one for $275. Has really fantastic movement in the trunk already. Good option for somebody that's maybe just looking to get into bonsai, or even just for a gift. This is an ideal size and quality for a really nice gift for somebody that might be into bonsai or might just be into gardening and trees themselves. This could be a good entry point into the world of bonsai. Like I said, it's also just great to go straight into your own collection. Put that up on display in your backyard and it's gonna look really, really nice. That's the last tree that we have for the showcase today. Our last thing to promote for this month is another Wazakura tool. So this time we have Wazakura branch cutters, normally $95, but we're gonna do these for $80 for this month. These branch cutters are, again, hand forged and handmade in Japan, 100% Japanese materials, made by Japanese artisans. You know 100% that the tool that you're getting is made in Japan. I have been using these for a couple of months now. Super easy to use. The craftsmanship on this tool as well is really, really nice. So you'll see that there's almost no gap at all where the join meets. Quality of this is unreal. So made in Japan, hand forged, really, really nice branch cutter. I basically recommend these to anybody, whether you're starting in bonsai and need a good branch cutter, or even professionals and practitioners that have been doing bonsai for a long, long time. I would highly recommend these branch cutters. They're gonna last a very, very long time. I would be surprised if you ever need another pair of branch cutters again. For this month, we'll be doing these for $80, so $15 off these branch cutters, which is a pretty exceptional price. We only have a small amount of these left, so if you are interested, make sure you get in and purchase some of these pretty quickly. Most of these items here this month can be shipped to you also, whether you're in Victoria. We can also ship to Adelaide and Sydney, definitely. The other states I'm not too sure about, and I would probably suggest that we can't. So if you're in at least Sydney or Adelaide, we can definitely ship these items and trees out to you. Possibly not the redwood forest, that might be a little bit too big to safely get via postage, but certainly all the other sizes of trees that we have here can definitely be posted or shipped to you, whether you're in Victoria, Adelaide or Sydney. If that is the case and you are looking to get something shipped to you, please just send me an email. I'll put that down below here in the bio and in the video, which should just be below me here. Feel free to send me an email and we can get that organized for you. Hopefully you guys found something that you liked in this month's showcase. If not, we'll catch you in the next one and hopefully find something there.